Hello IT Pros and welcome back to my IT workshop. This is Alvin Drill, and in this video we're going to continue scripting in Python. Of course, that's beautiful, that automates many things, and that helps you a lot. Now, if you haven't watched the last video, you can do it, clicking in the top right of this screen or in the video description below. I'm not going to explain the same things I explained there, so if you want to understand how to connect to a Cisco device using SSH, using a library called Netmico, you have to watch that video first. Otherwise, I'm not going to repeat it again, okay? So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to connect to the switch again. Well, I'm connected to it right now. And we're going to create a script to save any command that we issue on that switch to a TXT file, all right? So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to do a new library called subprocess, but that's optional. Now, I'm going to show you here, I'm connected right now to the switch. As you can see here, as we have seen in the last video, the switch is my IT, you can see the name over here, of course, my IT workshop 1. I haven't gotten another switch, but I'm working on it. So we're going to have two, maybe for the next video, maybe for 2 videos from now. But right now we only have 1. So I'm going to type I'm going to issue the command show var, and you can see that this is the model. Well, actually, let's go a little down. So this is the model. It's a Cisco Catalyst 2960 48 ports, and this is the iOS version for it. So I'm just showing you that this is a switch, and the command we are going to issue is, we can issue any command in the script, but this is the command I want to issue. Show environment all. So what this command does, if you are not familiar with it, it shows you many things, many physical things about the switch, like the temperature. You can see the values, the state is green, which is good. If it's near the, if it's having a problem, you have it as yellow, which is not good, but it's still working, and that might get worse and it goes to red. So at that time, the switch is going to reboot itself constantly. Actually, I had that problem at work like 2 weeks ago, or was it last week? 2 weeks ago. So we had to replace the switch. I don't know what was wrong with it. I mean, the fan was working, everything was working, but the temperature was way too high. Well, anyway, that's another story. So that's why I decided to check this, to use this command. So if you have many switches, let's say, like I mentioned before, this is for Cisco switches. Again, I'm not going to go back to the first video because I explained many things there, but I'm using a Cisco switch. And if you have many switches, you can automate this, or maybe take the configuration, the run config command for many switches, and you can save it from time to time. Right? So this is the command we're going to issue. As you can see, it shows us that, for example, here is the power, and this is the one that has built in. So this is the power supply for the switch, the power. And in many cases, there are 2, but this one only has 1, the one I have at home. So I just wanted to show you that. So this is the script we created last video. And like I mentioned, the part that is kind of the template is this one. So I'm going to copy this, and I already have another Python window. What this is called? Python window. And this one I call it automate to _ save config to a txt file. All right. So I just copy it. I'm going to close this because I don't need it. And here is the IP address, the username, the password, the Cisco iOS, and the password for the global configuration mode. All right. So now something I wanted to show you before is I'm going to change this because maybe it creates a confusion. This is a variable I just declared. But this command comes from Netmico, like I mentioned in the last video, but they look the same. So I'm going to change it a little. I'm going to tweak it for you to see that it doesn't have to be connect. It can be anything else. But to make things easier, I'm just going to call it connect to device. So this is a variable. And here, connect enable has also needs to be changed. Device enable. So we have that. So what I wanted to show you now is this Okay, first, if I when you try to save the configure whatever you run in the Python idle in a Python script, it's automatically going to be saved in this path. So if I go to open Alvendrill local programs Python blah blah blah, and these are all my scripts I have on this computer. So it's going to be saved here, but I don't want it because I have to come to this place all the time. So I just created here in my desktop this folder Python txts. So here I can access them quickly. And as you can see, it's empty, but then it's going to be a file is going to be created automatically. All right, so I just wanted to show you that. The next thing is where I'm going to introduce you to another library, which is called, well, I'm going to import it, and it's called subprocess. So this library does many things. I don't know all of them, but the one that caught my eye is this one. So I'm going to open another CMD. It's on this screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to issue this command. Show, no, it's not show, who I mean. So I don't know how to pronounce this. So this command returns the name of the computer. In this case, my computer is called this computer just because I have a lot of imagination, and the username, Alvendrill, okay? Therefore, I'm going to, if you use this in Linux, let's try it in Linux. So let's do it bash, and I am in Linux now, who am I? And in Linux, it doesn't tell with this command who am I or who am I. It doesn't show the computer name. It just shows the username. Can you see here? If you're wondering how did I do that, how do I have the Linux command prompt in a Windows computer, I made a video about that. If you're interested, the video is in the link for the video is in this video description below. All right. So in Linux, you don't have to do what we're going to do, but in Windows, yes, you need to do it. This part is optional, like I said, but in my opinion, it's very interesting. So we need only this part of the command, of the result of the command. I don't need this computer. I don't need it at all. So we have to do something here. So the first thing we're going to do is I imported the subprocess, and I'm going to make some space here. So we're going to start. What we are going to do is going to define a function, and I'm going to call it username. All right, and then username, I type it wrong, yeah, this is wrong, username. So what am I doing? Enter. So I'm going to use a position counter, which is 0. It always starts in 0 normally. And the results, another variable, I'm going to call the subprocess that get output. You see it, get output. Yeah, I believe it's okay. Get output, and I'm going to issue the command who am I, who am I, how to pronounce that. And what does this command do is going to, using the library, as you can see here, is going to issue this command in Windows. Okay, so it's kind of open a CMD inside here. It's going to, I don't know how to explain, it's kind of emulating the CMD, and is going to issue the command who am I, which we have it here, like that, who am I, who am I, and it's going to give us that. So that's what it's going to do. But like I mentioned, we don't need all of this. We only need the username. So doing this, you can share this script with many of your friends, maybe, or many of your coworkers, and doesn't matter what the username is, as long as they are logged in with that username. It's going to create it's going to copy the txt file to their desktop. Okay. So, like I said, this is not, this is optional, all right? So then I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to do a for loops for words in result. I'm going to go if the word or words it's equal to this. What's going to happen? But as you can see, this is / is something that is used a lot in Python. So if you know a little of Python, for example, what I'm typing here, it's going to make the line go, it's simulating like when you press enter, the line goes one down. So that's why we cannot it doesn't work that way. You have to do this. Okay, so every time you want to say, hey, this is equal to backward slash, it's not going to work. You have to do it double. And we're going to see something similar in a few more minutes. So I find that out recently. I didn't know about that, so that's why I'm trying to explain. Maybe you know, maybe you don't know it. So next, I'm saying if the words in result, and what is going to be the result is going to be this guy, all this. So if the result, what did I do? Okay. If the result is equal to this, what we are going to do? So we're going to say that position, which is my variable, is going to be increase. No, it's not going to. This is a new variable. Position counter is different. This one is going to be equal to position counter. So we have it there. Then we are going to break it because we don't need the command to run anymore. I mean the for loop, because we have found a character that is equal to backward slash. So then we're going to do that position counter is going to be increased by 1. So we do this position counter. Oh, what am I doing? What? Like this. So that means the counter is going to be increasing after every loop by 1. So it started in 0, next time it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and so on and so forth. So then, I want this to return the result, but, which is this one, right? The result. But this one, like I mentioned, is all of this, and I don't want all of this. I only want the username. All right. So for that, we're going to use the concept of positions. So I'm going to do position plus 1 until the end. So here I'm telling you, first I'm going to show you what it does. So return. So I'm just going to call and declare a new variable outside the function, which is going to be local computer. Oh, I don't like this. Local computer username. So this one is going to be I'm returning the result, and the result is going to be stored in a variable. Okay, so I'm just going to call the function like that, and I'm going to comment this because we don't need it for now, and I'm going to run it. So control save and run. What does it say? Oh, okay, so I have to put another 3. Didn't know that. So let me fix this. Pam, 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 pam. And pam, 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 pam. So I'm going to run it, save it, and let's see what it shows. And it's not going to, it's not showing anything. Oh, of course. I have to print it. Come on, come on. And I'm going to print all this, all the variable. So Control S to save, run, or F5, which I never press. Come on, come here. And as you can see, it's printing only Alvendrill. So that's what this part of the code is doing. So again, so let me close this, we don't need it. And here we are. So the command who am I in Windows is going to show you the computer name, backward slash, and the username. Okay, so but for our to make the script more dynamic, so many users can actually use this script, we only need this one, because every computer, whether it's at home or in your company, it's going to have a different name, right? And the username is also going to be different. However, the only thing we are interested in is the username. So that's why we have done all this to only get the part that we're interested in. All right, you're following with me? So that's what we have. So now we can continue. So all that part is going to remain the same because we haven't changed anything. All what this part does is create the connection to the switch. It's a switch, can be a router as well, but that's what it does. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to declare a variable to issue. So this variable is going to be our the command, the Cisco command that we want to execute. So this is going to be show environment all, like we have seen. So it's this command over here. So this is the one we are going to execute. So we have this, and then I'm going to declare another variable called output. All right, and then this one is going to be, well, I'm just going to copy it. Connect to device, copy paste, connect to device that send command. And what command are we going to issue? This one, to issue. And all this part from here is from NetMiko, from the NetMiko library. So from here, from NetMiko import control handler. So we are from this part, send command. This is the part of the code that actually sends the command to execute it in the Cisco device automatically. Well, yes, it could be automatically. Okay. So I want you to keep that in mind. So now we're going to save what we have done, what we have executed. We're going to save it to a txt file, which is going to be inside here. Like I said, this one is empty. In a few more minutes, it's going to be populated. So now, this is how Python does it. To open, I'm just following how it is done in Python. So I'm going to need all of this. So like I said, if I go inside here, I need all this path. All this path, I need to copy it. So copy, paste, copy and paste. But remember what I told you about this guy over here? It needs to be double. So every time I see this, I'm going to double it. Pam, pam, pam. I'm here as well. And I want my file to be called config.txt. You can call it anything you want, but as you can imagine, it has to end in config in txt. So then we have to declare what I'm going to do, add or write. So I want it to write. I'm going to show you what some variants of this in a few more minutes. And as f. This f can be anything, can be a, can be m. It's just a variable. It's just how Python does it. I don't know why. Anyway, so then all these are Python commands, which means it's how Python requests us to save a file, or to write to a file. I'm sorry. So here I'm going to remember the name of the switch. It's my IT Workshop 1, so I'm just going to copy this to make it look better. Did I copy that? Paste. Yes. So this is going to look a little better. And I'm going to add the issue command. So it's going to show the command that I am issuing. So then I write the same, write some space now. So like I mentioned before, this one makes simulate an enter key. So when you press enter, it goes one line down, right? So that's what this guy is going to do. So then I'm going to copy this again because we're going to use fwrite a lot. And from here, we're going to actually issue the command. So which is this one. So we are going to put it here. And the command to issue. Actually, I believe we can use the one above. So maybe I didn't explain this. Yeah, I didn't explain. So what I'm doing here is this part, forget about this one for a few seconds. This part is going to actually issue the command is going to run the command in the Cisco device. All right. So what I'm doing here is I'm saving it in an output. So this is a variable I declare, can be called anything. And I'm just saving it there, so we can see it later, right? It's not, this part is not necessary. I just want you to, you're going to see in a few more minutes or seconds, right? But this part is not very necessary, right? So, well, we can put a note here like optional. So we have this, then what are we going to do? We're going to copy this one more time because I want a space after this, and I'm going to just type end of file, just for you to know that this is the end file. And here I'm going to, after all the Python commands to save or to write the configuration to a txt file, we have done that, and I'm just going to print the output, which is this variable over here. So we do it, then one of these guys as well. Well, actually it's a print. So print, come on, why is it doing it this way? Print, and I want an extra space. And finally, we're going to print completed. So we know the script has finished. So we're going to save it, Control S, and let's see if it works. So again, a file needs to be created here if all goes well. Run command and invalid syntaxes. What am I doing wrong? Print output. What is wrong with that? Let me bring this here. Why is doing that? That's weird. So end of file. So let's make it a few. Oh, of course. How did I not see that? So we have to do that. So we're going to save it again, and now we're going to run module. And well, we didn't need that. I forgot to delete that. So it looks like it's running. Let's give it a few more seconds, and it's done. So as you can see here, it has executed the command. Show environment all. The fan is okay. The system temperature is okay. And all the information that we have seen in the switch itself. I only have one power supply, so it's showing us that. And I'm going to close this, we don't need it. And the important part is here. So as you can see, there is a new file here called config, and we can open it, and it's going to contain all that. So this is the part that we added and the command, because if you don't put that, it's optional as well. It's only going to show you all this. Okay, but I just wanted to look a little better. With the name of the switch and what's called the hashtag, so, and the command itself. So it's running like that, and at the end, once the command has finished what it has to do, it's going to show us end of file. So that's pretty nice. So we have it there. So now we have to delete some few things here. I don't need to print this because it's not necessary. It was just to show you that. And now I'm going to change the command. So let's say show version. And this time we're going to keep the W. So I'm going to save it, run it. Well, is this open? I don't think so. So run module is going to show us here. It's going to run in a few more seconds. Show version, the show version command. So you can see all that, all the show version command. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to open this guy again, config. And as you can see here, it has saved it. It has replaced, I'm sorry. Well, save it, replace. It has replaced the what we have saved a few minutes ago with the show environment version. I'm sorry, so show environment all command. So I'm going to close this. I don't need this for now. So what this command does, every time you put W of write, that means write, is going to replace what it already has. But if we type A, it's going to add to what we already have in that txt file. So again, I'm going to show all. So we save it, Control S, and we are going to run it. So I bring it here. We are going to wait a few more seconds until it tries to connect to the switch, and now it's completed. So I'm going to close it. I'm going to open the folder again, config. As you can see here, this is the first part, and this is the second part. end of file, well, this part would need to be changed. My IT workshop and show environment all. So it's showing us the same, but it has not been replaced. It has not been replaced. It has been added to the file that we already had. So that's pretty important. Maybe you need to rewrite the file again, like it's new. You can use W or A if you want just to add to what you already have. So this part of completed was end of file was good, but now I'm going to add this one over here. So this should make it look a little better. So I'm going to add it again, show end file. So what other command is very short? Show VLAN brief. So I'm going to save it and run it again. Run module, run command, run module. I'm going to bring it to you. So we also wait a few more seconds to see what happens. Come on, and there you go. You can see all the VLANs that I have. VLAN 1 by default and VLAN 50 and 100 I have created for just to show you, so it's not as empty. So we're going to open this again. We open the config, and this time it's showing us this, and end of file is still doing that. That's weird. But as you can see, all the files, I mean all the commands that we have issued in 3 different times are being added one after the other. Nothing is being deleted. So this part I don't like it very much. Why is doing that? End of file. So I'm going to close this. We are going to close this. Maybe we need to add another one here. Maybe that's going to do it. So let's run it one more time. Run module. And let's see if this time we have what we want. Well, this part, it's just, it's because I don't like how it looks, but the script is running with no problems. So we can see completed here. I'm going to close this. We're going to open this again. We're going to scroll down, and it's still doing it. Oh no, in the file, VLAN name, yes. Oh no, it's not doing it anymore. So end of file, this is the new time, the last time we have executed this file, and now it's kind of pressing enter and it's printing it below that. So this looks way better. This looks way better than this guy over here like this. I don't like how this looks, but that's what we needed it. So print output, so we can have more like this maybe, so that way it's going to save it a little better. So now I'm going to show ver again. We save it and we run it. So we are going to wait a few more seconds to see how this works, and we are going to see what happens. So it has finished, as you can see, completed. Close this. I'm going to open it one more time. So where does this start? Show ver end of file. So we see one extra space, and a few seconds ago we didn't have. I mean, it went one line down, but now we have an extra line here, like empty line. So we can see that there is another iteration, another command that's it's been issued. So that's what I wanted to show you in this video, guys. How to connect to a Cisco device, can be a switch, can be a router, how to execute commands, and how to save the results to a TXT file. By the way, this is very useful when you have multiple switches. So maybe you need to know the state of the show environment all command for, let's say, 10 switches. You're not going to log in one by one. You can do this and do a for loop, and it's going to do the same command for the 10 switches, and that's going to take how much? 30 seconds, something like that, 1 minute, instead of you doing all the work yourself. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you in the video, guys. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any other comment or questions, leave it in the comment section below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.